If you like my content, please like and click on the subscribe button. Click on the drop down and select All to see regular updates.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Data Sculptor. Today we are dealing with another interesting SQL question. So this time we have a table with three columns: ID, name and category. And if you observe the output, you still have the same three columns: ID, name and category. And if you see, there are two categories: electronics and books. So basically these all are products in a shop, and the table name is dbo.Product. So each and every product has some category and also an ID associated with it. Like mobile has electronics and ID 1, TV has ID 2, camera has 3, and so on. And maths is subject, and it's coming under category books. So maths 5, chemistry 6, and English 7. So if you see the output, the name and category are the same, but the IDs are changed. So here mobile is 1, but here mobile is 2, and TV is 2, and TV is 1, and so on. Laptop and camera, these are exchanged. And again for chemistry, maths, and English, everything it is exchanged, but if you see, English is not exchanged. So try to crack what is the logic behind this and how are the IDs getting changed. Try to understand the logic behind how to get how are the IDs changed. So if you're able to understand this, you'll be able to solve this on your own. Try solving it. If you're unable to solve it, watch this video till the end. I will be explaining how to solve this using SQL, and we'll be dealing with a lot of other test cases as well to see whether a solution matches with all the required test cases. So if you are watching our videos for the first time, make sure you click on the like button and also click on subscribe button so that you'll get more videos. So now let's go back to SQL Server Studio and understand what is the solution for this. So as discussed, this is the DDL and DML script of this question. If you want to practice it, you can get it from the description of this video. So now let's compare the input and output and understand what is the logic. So if you see here, mobile ID 1 has become 2 and TV ID 2 has become ID 1. So basically two consecutive rows, if there are two consecutive rows, their IDs are getting swapped. Okay, so since mobile, TV, camera and laptop. So for this electronics, if you see, IDs are getting swapped only in this particular category, right? So in the electronics, there are 1, 2, 3 and 4. Four items are there in electronics. So 1 and 2 have become 2 and 1, 3 and 4 have become 4 and 3. Okay, that means mobile and TV IDs are swapped and laptop camera IDs are swapped. Since this is a even number of items in this category, this is straightforward. There is no complex logic. But here, if you see for books, there is an odd number of items. So here for books there are three items: 5, 6, and 7. So only 5 and 6 are getting swapped. So maths 5 became ID 6 and chemistry 6 has become 5, but English 7 has remained 7. Okay, so this is the corner case which we have to solve. So if there is a strict rule that if all there are even number of items in a particular category, then it's very straightforward, but that is not the case here. There can be any number of items in this category. The only rule here is the IDs are consecutive. Okay, so now let's try to solve this all these scenarios using a single query. So we have to write a single query because we cannot keep writing different queries for each and every number of combinations. So we always have to write a single query which satisfies all the conditions. Okay, so to start this, let's create a row number. Okay, let's create a new column with the row number assigned per category. So that is select from dbo.Product. So here star will give you all the columns and row number. So row number over partition by name, sorry, partition by category and order by ID as RN. Let's give this name as RN. And if you run this select, let's see what you're getting. So for electronics, okay, let's order it by ID, order by ID. So for electronics, you are getting the ranks as in 1, 2, 3, and 4. And for books again, you're getting ranks as in 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now what we have to do, let's keep this in a CTE. So we'll make the use of the CTE, and we all know inside the CTE we cannot use the order by. So let's remove this And what I'll do in another query, so select from CTE. Okay, so select star from CTE, select star from CTE will give you basically all these columns, right? So incorrect, what is this? What, something is wrong. So select star with CTE. Okay, as is missing. So now if you run this, so you're getting the same. Now what I'll do is I'll create one more column. Okay, so max of ID over partition by category, partition by category. So what will this give is max category. So what will give for each and every category, I'll get the maximum of ID. So for electronics, the max of ID is 4. So in this, so for electronics, the value will be 4, and for books, the value will be 7, because the max of ID for books is 7. So for each and every category, we are retrieving the max of ID. Okay. So now, if you run this, let's see what you are getting. So if you see here, as I told, so max of category, for each and every category, you're getting the max ID. Okay. So this one also you can keep it in the previous city. There is no need to keep it in the new city. So you can keep it in the previous city. So nothing wrong. And if you just uh, execute this query, you'll get the output. So now with this city, so now let's simply write select start from city. Okay, so basically with these two additional columns, we'll be playing and doing and we'll retrieve the um, swapping of the IDs. Okay, so first thing, since this is the easiest, okay, so since this is the easiest, like swapping the IDs when there are even number of uh, rows, so order by one. Okay, we have to write this. So three conditions here. So basically, if there are even number of rows, you swap. um you swap the IDs as is, right? I mean, you can do swapping. No need to handle like the corner case. If there is a seventh row, that means if odd number of rows are there, you have to not swap the last ID. But if even number of rows are there, you have to swap it. So now let's write those logic. So first thing, we have to use the case statement. Okay, case when uh, Rn mod 2 is equal to 1. Okay, so or Rn mod 2 is equal to 0. Okay, then Rn mod 2 is equal to 0. That means whenever this row number is equal to that means the modulus of 2, whenever the modulus of this row number is equal to 0, that means it is an even number. That then what we have to do, we have to simply minus the ID. Okay, so for if you see in this scenario, for ID of TV, ID 2 should become 1, laptop 4 should become 3, and chemistry 6 should become 5. So simply it is ID minus 1. Okay, and again next condition, Rn mod 2 is equal to 1. So if it is an even number, we have solved it. If it is an odd number, then we'll increase the ID. Okay, so whenever Rn mod 2, that means if the row number is an odd number, okay, odd number, that the final value, the modulus of the odd number will always be 1. Okay, so whenever the ID is 1 3, we have to increment it. So 1 should become 2, and 3 should become 4, and also here 5 should become 6, and 7 should stay 7. Okay, so now let's see if but 7 should stay 7, right? So that condition also we have to handle. So what we have to do is 7 will not swap the ID 7 when when it is the last value, right? So if it is the last value, we have to not swap it. So if this Rn mod 2, since we are dealing with the modulus, and if this modulus value is equal to the max category, and max category uh, is equal to ID, then just simply ID. Okay, otherwise, so what is happening here? So when Rn mod 2, so that means odd number. So whenever there is an odd number, and the maximum category is id. That means the last row of that particular category, if it is the odd number and if it's the last row of the particular category, then we should not swap, right? So that's why simply id. But when it is an odd number and this it is not the last row, that means r and mod 2 is 1, and if it is not a last row, that means simply not equal to, then id plus 1. Okay, and as id comma star. Okay, so now let's uh, yeah, now let's order by 2. Okay, so now let's run this query and see if we are getting the required output. So what is happening in initially in the input, we have mobile 1 tv2. So mobile 1 and tv2, the id is swapped with the logic 2 and 1. And for camera laptop, 3 and 4 have become 4 and 3. And max in chemistry, 5 and 6 have become 6 and 5. And English 7 stays the same 7. Okay, so this one condition is satisfied, where you have first, this is one test case. As I told earlier, we'll be solving a lot of tests. We'll be testing this code with multiple test cases, right? So since there are one is having odd number and one is having even number, this case is satisfied. So now let's take a scenario where the first set is even number, is an odd number, and the second set is an even number, right? So here if you see, there are two categories. The first category has having even number of IDs and second category is having odd number of IDs. So now let's change the scenario. I'll make this ID as 4, ID 4 as simply, I'll just change the ID to books, and this one I'll keep it say social. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm trying to make the first set having odd number of IDs and second set having even number of IDs. Okay, so now let's execute this. So now if you just simply see the input, so here now the first set is having odd number of IDs and second set is having even number of IDs, right? So now let's comment out this. Okay, so now what should happen? Mobile and TV should be swapped and camera should remain as is and others should be swapped. So now let's run all of them together and see the output. Okay, so if you see here, mobile and TV uh, have IDs have been swapped 2 and 1, and camera 3 remain the same. Social and max 4 and 5 have become 5 and 4, and chemistry and English 6 and 7 have become 7 and 6. So this scenario is also matching. Like the first set having odd number and second set having even number is matching, and the first set having even number and the second set having odd number is also matching. Now both the sets should have uh, odd number. Okay, so now I'll remove one of them. I'll just change the IDs 4, um, 5, and 6. So now first set electronics is having odd number of products, and books, second category books is also having odd number of products. So now let's run and see if it is matching. Okay, so now if you see mobile and TV 1, 2, and 3, right? Mobile TV camera. So now mobile and TV should be swapped. So TV should have 1 and mobile should have 2, and camera 3 it is fine. And max and chemistry only should be swapped. So 4 and 5 have become 5 and 4, and English is 6, so 6 remains as is. Okay, so two odd numbers are also matching, right? So now two even numbers, so 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and okay, and now electronics we have to add one more. So electronics, here I'll add laptop. Okay, so let's make this 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so this is simple. So here mobile and TV should become 2 and 1, camera laptop should become 4 and 3. Okay, and social max 5 6 should become 6 and 5, and chemistry English 7 8 should become 8 and 7. So this single query is handling all the scenarios, right? So this query will only work if there are consecutive IDs, right? So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So hope you all understood the solution. Simple, this simple way. So you need to understand how to write this case statement. This particular case statement, if you are able to write, you'll be able to crack this. others and everything is pretty simple. And whenever you're trying to solve these kind of questions, make sure you always use the row number. Okay, some way or the other, row number will always be helpful in these kind of questions. Okay, so now my challenge to you is, say, um, I'll give you the same table with the same products, but instead of in this, I'll not have consecutive IDs. I will have separate IDs. Okay, they might not be consecutive. They'll be different, but even though they are different, they should be swapped. Okay, so here I'll have, instead of 1 2, you should have 10 20 30 45 51 68 77, and here I'll get 79. Okay, so even now there are not consecutive IDs, but still these should be swapped. So 10 and 20 should become 20 and 10. um, 30 45 should become 45 and 30. So I want you to practice this, so that you'll be, this is just an upgrade to the existing question. So I'll be pasting this question in the comments. So if you want to practice this, you can just practice and post your solution in the comments. And also for this initial question, if you have any other better solution, you can paste it in the comment section so that others will also learn from that. So if you like this video, make sure you click on the like button, so that if you click on the like button, so people who are interested to learn SQL and or who are seeking more SQL questions, this video reaches out to them. So it's just a simple reach technique for me, so that this video will be reached to most number of people. So that will be very helpful for me. So please like this video, and if you like my videos and if you want to practice more more questions, you can watch the playlists which are present in the description of this video. There are variety of playlists. You can go to the playlist and practice many other questions. And make sure you click on subscribe button, so that in future I make videos mostly on SQL and Power BI. And if you're interested in Power BI also, just subscribe on this channel so that you'll get notification whenever a new video is released. Thank you. Have a nice day.